All right. LinkedIn. Right here we got LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. What's going on? And then right over here, Facebook. What's going on, squad? Myself, Montel, and my wife, Tosh. We are here to basically do a live stream. I do a live stream all the time. It's a little different having a guest in beside me. I don't know how to introduce it the right way, but we're still
you have a partner today.
Yeah. I got a partner today.
today.
And the funny thing about this, which I don't want to dive too deep into it because I want to talk more about it once they actually hit record on the podcast, is that we've been trying to do this same exact topic for what? 2 months? A month and a half?
At least a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dilemma has been that we've been trying to do it during Callie's nap time and the time of day that we're trying to do it every day, which is around this time, like lunchtime. She is supposed to be napping and then she just wakes up for a nap because she knows we're trying to do a podcast and a live stream. And so today we planned again, let's try it. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but a little sidekick is right here. Like she woke up as soon as we, right before we got ready to start this.
Setting everything up and everything.
So I was like, you know what? Like we can't use that as an excuse anymore. Like you may hear a little bit of babbling in the background, but that's just a lot. But that's just our life now. You know, that's not an excuse. Yeah, exactly. That's not an excuse, but it kind of ties in with the topic anyway. So
for sure,
we have our little baby over here. If you hear her.
For sure, absolutely. As you can see, we're talking about the link between fitness and parenthood. Wanted to have this conversation because I feel like, one big thing, or let me go ahead and start. Before I start though, I want y'all to comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how the weekend was. Give me a muscle emoji down in the comments if you smash your workout, and then tag another dad or another mom that you feel like might benefit from this conversation, that's looking to get in great shape, or just anybody that you know, anybody that you know that's looking to make some changes in their health and also happens to be a parent. So we're going to get started with the podcast in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, squad? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. As you can see today, we're talking about the link between fitness and parenthood, and I have a very special guest, the other half of my parenthood journey.
That sounded really sweet.
The other half of my parenthood journey?
I don't know, somehow it sounded sweet.
I was not intending for it to be sweet.
But anyway, but I say that about everything. I say everything sounds sweet, and he's always like, I was literally just talking. But anyway, yeah, that does sound sweet. But I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this podcast for about a month and a half now, 2 months, something like that. But every time we try to do it, Callie wakes up. Callie is our 4-month-old daughter. She wakes up every time. And then obviously we're like, oh, well, she's up now. So we got to, take care of her. We got to make sure that, she's not in the podcast because she's going to be screaming and yelling and all this stuff. But eventually we were like, you know what? We're going to put her in it. And we might put her in a lot of podcasts going forward because we are parents now. And that's just part of the journey. If you're trying to run a business, your kid has to be maneuvered around it. If you're trying to get healthy and get in shape, your kid has to be maneuvered around it. So I think that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today inside this podcast. So I'm just going to give my one thing, or my one big, similarity that I felt throughout the journey and how it directly correlates to getting in shape, being physically fit and doing the things required. And then Tosh is going to do the same. So first off, for me, one of the biggest similarities when it comes to fitness and then also parenting in this entire journey over the last 4 months is definitely, without a doubt, embracing discomfort. Embracing discomfort is a huge thing. And when I say discomfort, I mean, if you're in your health and fitness journey, one of the biggest things that you might feel discomfort with is maybe having to change up your eating habits. Maybe you have to wake up an hour early. Maybe you have to go through workouts that push your body and they exhaust you and they burn and they hurt. Maybe you have to start weaning yourself off of a lot of low quality foods that you might be eating or things that you might be indulging in. Like, you have to embrace a lot of discomfort in your health and fitness journey in order to get in great shape. And I felt the exact same things when it comes to being a parent. You have to embrace a lot of discomfort, whether that be waking up 2 or 3 times a night, even though I don't have nearly as much of the nighttime responsibility as Tosh does. But still, if she's crying, I might wake up throughout the night. Or I might have to get something, or I might have to help out in some type of way. And then also just for me is the schedule piece. Like we've always been just me and you ran our business together. So we've always been able to be like, hey, let's do this at this time, this at this time, this at this time.
And then we just did it.
Exactly.
It's got it done.
Exactly. You just did it and you executed on it and it was finished. But now with a third musketeer, she kind of dictates, which this isn't anything that I didn't expect or foresee. This is something that's, kids have immediate needs and they feel like their need needs to be met right there at that very second. So you just kind of have to drop everything and do that. And a lot of times it might push your schedule back. For example, yesterday we were filming content. Typically we try and film content every Sunday, build out client programs, and make sure that everything's good for the week. And we started at a very good pace. We started at about 10 o'clock a.m. Sunday morning, which typically would have had us finished by 2 or 3. But then Callie decided she didn't want to take a full nap for basically the rest of the day. So we ended up being on time to now I'm up at 10, 11 o'clock having to finish stuff up, all because of that. So like that's one of the biggest things for me when it comes to like, hey, man, you might be comfortable with having an optimal schedule and being able to fully dictate when and where and how things are going to go and how things are going to move. But when you have a kid, all of that changes. And you guys, if you're watching live, if you're on a podcast, you nod your head, like I'm sure you can attest to this. Maybe you had a fitness routine. Maybe you did certain things in your, maybe your personal life. Maybe you hung out with friends or whatever the case may be. And now all of a sudden, all of those things had to change as a result of that. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is like, you're going to be uncomfortable, when you face certain situations, and you have to figure out how to embrace that discomfort in your health and fitness and in the parenting aspect. And I enjoyed the journey am enjoying the journey in the fitness aspect, and definitely enjoying it in the parenting aspect. It's difficult, but it's extremely rewarding. And I feel like you wake up and you feel better for it every day. The fact that you were able to, instead of, fold and oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that, to say I did it anyway, even though I had to make some adjustments and maneuvers and things like that.
And I think that's kind of why it's so hard, is because it's so new. So for us, for example, like we're new to the whole parent thing. She's only 4 months old. Like, it's an adjustment, but either that be, maybe you're new to the parenthood just like us, or maybe you're new to fitness, or maybe, you're just kind of getting back in it. Maybe it's the 10th time, but you're getting back in it. Sometimes starting things over again is a fresh start and it's new. And it just takes a little bit of adjusting. But I like the point that you mentioned, that is the biggest focus for you, because it really ties into mine. And mine is, it's all about habits, really like habit stacking when it comes to your health and fitness journey, but also when it comes to parenting. So that's how I feel like they tie together, because if I'm going to be honest, you're not going to be able to get anything done in the health and fitness world when it comes to, workouts, trying to eat a certain way and just making sure you're able to get those things done, if you don't tie in your kid too, just because you have to plan around their schedule. Like we said, we've been trying to do this podcast and this live stream for a while, and it can be a little bit difficult because of her. But if we don't plan around her nap times, or say that we're going to get this done at this time, then it's not going to happen. So I think it's about creating that habit. And so this is a new habit that we're probably creating right now, bringing Callie in onto things. Like, she's not really in the picture right now. She's really amused by listening to us talk. So she'll be pretty chill. So this is something we'll be able to do from now on. So that's one thing.
Until she starts moving.
Then
it's a whole new
right. Then we got to create some other new game plan and make that a habit for the time being, for whatever phase she's in. So it's really about making sure, you include your kids and working around their schedules, as well as when it comes to your fitness and health routine, setting out those times and making it a part of your day and putting it in your calendar, just like, being a parent is. It really just ties in.
For sure. And I know, I don't know if you heard stuff like this, but for me, the first thing I heard as soon as, people found out that we were having a baby, it was like, oh, well, good luck being in shape now that baby coming and stuff. Like, I heard stuff like that, and it came from guys more so than which that's the majority of the people on my platform who I work with specifically, so it makes sense, but came from the majority of guys. And I'm just looking and I'm like, bro, did you just mail it in because you had a kid and now you expect everybody else to as well? Like, you still have a lot of personal life, even outside of your kid. Obviously, your kid plays a huge impact into what you do and how that looks, but you still got to take care of yourself. You still have to tend to your own personal needs as well. And I just thought it was so crazy that so many guys thought that my life would completely change and we would just completely, I don't know, fall off the wagon or whatever the case may be. And it's like, you were up getting walks in, what, 2.5 weeks after having the baby. We're up walking. Yeah, we're up walking every single day. I've gotten in at least 3 or 4 workouts every single week since she's been here. Still milk, like all of these things. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything, but it's just like habits, just like you said, are a huge part of being able to stay where you want to be, being able to stay physically fit, being able to stay healthy throughout the journey of having a kid. It's like, okay, hey, what are you doing every day? What are you putting in your body every day? What time are you carving out for yourself every day? Like all of these things play a huge factor when it comes to actually staying physically fit and healthy. And if you don't have those habits in place, you're never going to be able to do it. And that's why I just kind of laughed when so many people, swore that we will fall off track. They swore that it would be so hard. Is it different? Has it been a challenge to adjust to? Absolutely. But has it been hard or impossible to work out and eat healthy? And I think I said this in a previous live stream. I have a little bit of sympathy for guys and girls that say that they can't make the time to work out or go to the gym. But I don't really have much for those that say they don't have the time to eat healthy. Because it's like, okay, well, are you eating every day? If you're eating every day, then you're making conscious decisions to either choose a high quality meal or a low quality meal. And every time you eat, you're choosing to choose a low quality meal. So like that's
regardless if you're picking it up or if you're preparing it yourself.
Exactly. So unless you're telling me that you're so busy and you're so between work and kids, you're so wrapped up that you've forgotten to eat the last 3 days, which if that was the case, you probably wouldn't need to lose some weight and need to get or you wouldn't need to get healthier, but weight loss wouldn't be what you needed to focus on. So you're eating every single day. The issue is probably overindulgence. The issue is a complete lack of awareness of what we're consuming. And your kid has nothing to do with that. In all honesty, your kid has no bearing on whether you decide to intentionally focus on what you're putting in your body, because you're still going to eat regardless of if they're around or not. So that was the big thing for me in terms of figuring out okay, how am I going to navigate this? What are we going to do? How are we going to make sure that we stay healthy, we stay fit, that we lead by example, being fitness coaches? And I was like, hey, well, we can always dial in our eating. And my eating has been probably as good as it's been all year since she came along, because of being more intentional and making the habit and the focus to do so.
And I feel like when it comes to, I know you're talking about a lot about the eating portion of it, but then when it comes to, let's say, getting workouts in, I think it's a lot easier when we decided to include her. So also even with preparing food too, because she's at the point now where she has a little chair that she can sit in, and so we sit her in it, and we're still able to cook. She's sitting right there on the kitchen island, and we're doing whatever we need to do, and we talk to her. Or just like when we're working out, we can talk to her in between sets, or I may be holding her while he's working out, and we go back and forth. But we do whatever we have to do. But as long as we include her, then she's fine. And you can do the same thing with your kids, regardless of their age. It's probably a lot easier if they're older, then you don't have to hold them.
For sure, absolutely. So that's the biggest links for us. For me, it was embracing the discomfort, same discomfort that comes with changing up your eating habits, changing up your activity habits, going through a tough workout, like the discomfort in that, and then the discomfort of parenting and having to completely flip your schedule and make changes and adjustments that you might not necessarily have had to make in the past. And then for you, of course, it was habit stacking.
Yeah, habit stacking, the importance of, the habits in both of those things, regardless of being a parent or working on yourself, physically. They tie in together. You got to do them both. So why not just let them,
Yep, 1,000%. So hopefully this offered, try to do something a little bit different, tell more about, I guess, kind of personal story or our personal experience. Hopefully this resonated. If so, we'll do more of these. So if you're watching live, please let us know if you enjoy it, watching on the replay. Just comment #replay if you're watching, obviously, on video. And then if you're listening on the podcast, please drop a comment and leave us a 5-star review. that really helps the podcast push forward. And our mission here is to just help guys. Obviously, if you're on my podcast, help guys, but just in general, help people get healthy, get fit, and realize that you can do it even with kids. Right now, I know somebody's gonna pop in and say, "Oh, well, you got a 4-month-old. Wait till because it's funny because it was wait till those wait till that newborn stage. See how many workouts you're gonna get in then." But okay, cool. I was still getting in 4. You were still getting in walks every day. We're still meal prepping. And now it's going to be, oh, wait till you got a 1-year-old. And oh, wait till she's moving. Oh, wait till she goes to school. Like at a certain point.
It's always going to be something.
Exactly. It's always going to be something.
But that you don't have to use that as your excuse. Use that as your motivation.
Exactly. And that's just a weak mindset and a weak mentality. And like I said, I've only heard it coming mostly from guys, which is sad that you just mail it in and blame everything on your kid instead of using your kid as the reason and the motivation that you get healthier and make healthier decisions and move your body. So if you find yourself saying those things or thinking those things, I want you to nip that stuff in the bud. I want you to completely squash it and be like, hey, you know what? Instead of saying, oh, wait till, or I can't do this because of my kid, or I can't do that because of my kid. Figure out how you can do it around them. Figure out how you can do it with them. Figure out how you can implement these things even with a busy schedule. And I promise you'll be 10 times better off for it. So that's it. That's all. I appreciate every single one of y'all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. And I'll talk to you
later.
Peace. All right. Good podcast. All right. LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I will talk to LinkedIn. We actually got a question. Structure sleep in your busy. How do you structure sleep in your busy schedule? I'll let you answer that one because
more, I wonder if you mean more for us or for the kid.
Baby.
But I guess it kind of ties in together because you kind of have to structure your sleep as well as theirs. So when it comes to her, we're really just trying to stick to a routine. So even if your baby's supposed to have a nap time at lunchtime, let's say they're supposed to have a nap at 12 o'clock every day. That's their second nap of the day. Even if they're not tired, try to put them down. Try and do that every day, and eventually they'll start getting tired on that day. It may take a week, it may take 2 weeks, but that's what works for her. And like I said, every day she doesn't go down at the same, she doesn't fall asleep at the same times, but we try to get her to sleep around the same times. And also we kind of do the same thing for us. Like people think that sleep training and things like that and bedtimes are just for kids, but no, it's not. We tell our clients this every day, like you yourself also need a bedtime. So kind of plan your bedtime out around your kids' sleep time. So maybe your kids go down at 7:30 or whatever it may be. Tell yourself like, okay, I need this amount of time to lie down, but this is my cutoff time when I'm going to put my phone away and when I'm going to go to sleep. So scheduling that bedtime for yourself as well as those set times for your kid, and try your best to stick to it for you and also for your baby.
For sure. And the bedtime is something that we've been doing for 4 years now, roughly. Like it's not hard. Like, oh, it's this time. Like, oh, we gotta go to sleep. Like it hasn't been that, but it's been like, hey, if you wanna,
as long as you're aware.
Like if you're committed to, and I see a lot of, I guess couples especially, like, oh, we want to go to the gym together. We want to get healthier. And it's like, we're going to get up every morning and do a, 30-minute workout. But y'all are watching Netflix till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, you're probably not going to be able to turn around and get up at 5, 6 a.m. for that morning workout. So it's just understanding like, okay, what do I want to accomplish? What are we working towards? And then how much sleep do I need to run and operate at my best? How much sleep or when do I need to go to sleep in order to get that amount of sleep? And how do I need to structure my day to make sure that I'm asleep by then? Everybody talks about the morning routine. They talk about what you master in your mornings, what you do when you wake up. But the only way that you can master your morning is if you master your nighttime, when you master your bedtime. And that's why it's so important to have some type of nighttime routine where it's like, hey, we start winding down around this time. Obviously, with a kid involved, it makes it even better because now she regularly by 8 o'clock, 8:30 at the latest, she's asleep. So now maybe by 10 o'clock, we're able to go to sleep as well. And we're able to get a full, 6, 7, 8 hours before we start the day. And that makes it a lot easier to get up at 7 a.m. and train and take a walk and cook breakfast and meal prep and all these different things. So it just all comes back to reverse planning. You got a goal that you want to accomplish. You got to be able to flip it in reverse and figure out what steps it's going to take to eventually get you to where you can do said thing. Even when you have somebody, like, you probably can't see it in the camera, but even when you got a baby that's sometimes she throws you off schedule, That's why you build some cushion in and you build some flexibility. Well, if she's awake, we'll do this. If she's asleep, we'll do this. And it just makes it a lot easier. So
that's what helps us.
Great question. So that's it. That's all, squad. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure to go to the podcast and subscribe to the podcast. Leave a 5-star review and a comment. That's the biggest reason we do these live streams for the podcast platform. And it really helps to push everything up. So make sure to go there. And also let us know what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about, whether it be health and fitness related, anything. I really just want to talk about a number of things on this platform. So I'm super excited for that. So peace out. Talk to y'all soon.